Your hidden superpower, why cultural identity drives disruptive success. Welcome. I want to take you on a journey today, a journey that challenges everything we've been taught about what it takes to succeed professionally for generations, particularly for people of color, women, and those from marginalized communities. We've received the message that success requires conformity, that to excel professionally, we must downplay our cultural backgrounds, code switch our communication, and essentially leave parts of ourselves at the door. But what if everything we've been told about success is backward? What if the very things we've been hiding are actually our greatest strengths? This counterintuitive truth crystallized for me during my recent conversation with Chef Kwame Onwuachi, a visionary whose story transforms how we think about authenticity in professional spaces. Kwame isn't just a chef, he's a cultural revolutionary whose journey from the streets of the Bronx to becoming one of America's most celebrated culinary voices by age 29 represents a powerful rebuke to conventional wisdom about success. In a world that constantly tells us to conform, Kwame did something radical. He brought his full, uncompromised cultural identity to his work. And that decision didn't just lead to personal fulfillment, it catapulted him to extraordinary professional heights that would have been impossible had he followed the traditional playbook. Think about that for a moment. The aspects of his identity that conventional wisdom suggested he downplay became the very foundation of his innovation and the hallmark of his success. When Kwame opened his acclaimed restaurant, Kith Kin, in Washington, D.C., he didn't just create another fine dining establishment. He created a culinary autobiography, a space where his personal history was honored through every flavor profile and technique. The restaurant quickly garnered national attention specifically because it offered something different, authentic cuisine that told a story only Kwame could tell. This challenges everything many of us have internalized about professional advancement. How many times have we dimmed our light, softened our voice, or hidden aspects of our identity to fit in? How often have we believed that our difference was a liability rather than an asset? The first key insight from Kwame's journey is this: your unique background is not something to overcome, it's a strength to leverage. Your cultural identity, your family history, your lived experiences, these aren't obstacles to success, but rather the very ingredients that can set you apart in any industry. Let me share something that might surprise you. Kwame's early life was marked by significant hardship. He faced financial struggles growing up in the Bronx. His mother, seeking to instill discipline, sent him to Nigeria to live with his grandfather, a jarring transition for a young boy from New York City. He struggled with fitting into different cultures, constantly navigating the complex terrain of belonging. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Instead of trying to escape or minimize these experiences, Kwame embraced them. He absorbed the culinary traditions of his Nigerian grandfather, learning the profound respect for ingredients and flavors that would later distinguish his cooking. He brought the hustle he developed selling candy on New York subways to his culinary career, using that entrepreneurial spirit to pay his way through culinary school. These weren't just random chapters in his life, they became the essential elements of his unique culinary perspective, a perspective that would have been impossible without those very challenges. This pattern of transforming potential liabilities into extraordinary assets isn't unique to Kwame. Consider Marcus Samuelson, another visionary chef who opened Red Rooster Harlem with a bold vision that defied conventional wisdom. He didn't just want to create a restaurant, he wanted to establish a community hub deeply rooted in Black culture. The challenge was monumental: how to create a space that would resonate with local residents while also attracting wider audiences, all while maintaining authentic representation. Many advisors might have suggested watering down his vision, making it more accessible or mainstream. But Samuelson did the opposite. He doubled down on storytelling through food, reflecting Harlem's rich history alongside innovative takes on classic dishes. He created a space that celebrated rather than diluted Black cultural contributions. The result? Red Rooster became an iconic gathering space that bridges uptown and downtown communities, a model for culturally anchored entrepreneurship that has earned Samuelson James Beard Awards and helped redefine modern American cuisine through Afrocentric flavors. This brings me to the second key insight: resilience transforms setbacks into stepping stones. Both Kwame and Marcus faced significant challenges on their journeys, yet these experiences weren't just obstacles to overcome, they became the very foundation of their culinary perspective. There's a profound lesson here for all of us. So many of us have been in survival mode for so long, leading teams, raising families, holding down households, carrying communities. We've been taught that strength means pushing through adversity without showing vulnerability. But what if our challenges aren't just things to endure, but experiences that uniquely position us to create, innovate, and lead in ways others cannot? The third insight that emerged from these culinary pioneers is perhaps the most powerful: authenticity inspires impact. When you stay true to yourself, you not only build personal confidence, but also create ripple effects that transform communities. Alexander Smalls exemplifies this principle. His career spans several iconic New York City restaurants where he championed Pan African flavors alongside fine dining excellence. He faced significant skepticism about whether upscale Black cuisine could succeed commercially at scale. Rather than compromising his vision, Smalls blended high quality ingredients with Southern and African techniques while curating vibrant atmospheres celebrating Black artistry through both food and music. The outcome? Multiple successful ventures culminating in a James Beard Award winning cookbook, Between Harlem and Heaven. More importantly, Smalls helped launch the careers of other prominent chefs of color while broadening perceptions around what constitutes fine dining. He expanded opportunities for minority restaurateurs nationwide by proving market demand exists when stories are told authentically. This is what happens when we drop the mask and embrace our authentic selves. We don't just transform our own lives, we create space for others to do the same. What's particularly striking about these stories is how they challenge the narrative of assimilation that has dominated professional advice for generations. We've been told that success requires fitting in, not standing out, that our differences are obstacles to overcome rather than assets to leverage, that our cultural backgrounds should be minimized rather than celebrated. But Kwame, Marcus, and Alexander tell a different story. They show us that true innovation often comes from the margins, not the mainstream, that our unique perspectives, shaped by our cultural identities and lived experiences, allow us to see possibilities others miss. That authenticity isn't just personally fulfilling, it's professionally powerful. This isn't just true in the culinary world, it applies across industries and disciplines. Think about it. The most innovative companies today aren't those that hire for conformity, but those that actively seek diversity of thought and experience. The most compelling leaders aren't those who follow established playbooks, but those who bring fresh perspectives shaped by their unique journeys. For those of us who have spent years in survival mode, constantly adapting to others' expectations and suppressing aspects of our identity to fit in, this represents a profound shift in thinking. It suggests that the path to our highest professional achievement isn't about becoming more like everyone else. It's about becoming more fully ourselves. When Kwame embraced his West African and Caribbean roots in his cooking, he didn't just create delicious food, he created a new narrative about what American cuisine could be. When Marcus built Red Rooster as a celebration of Harlem's culture, he didn't just open a restaurant, he created a community institution that preserves and evolves Black cultural traditions. When Alexander insisted that African diaspora cuisines deserve the same respect as European fine dining, he didn't just win awards, he expanded possibilities for an entire generation of chefs. This is the power of bringing your full self to your work. It's not just personally fulfilling, it's culturally transformative. So I challenge you today. What aspects of your identity have you been hiding in professional spaces? What stories from your cultural background might inform innovative approaches in your field? What parts of yourself have you been taught to minimize that might actually be your greatest professional assets? I want you to identify one aspect of your background you've been hesitant about sharing professionally and find a way this week to celebrate it boldly, not just for yourself, but for everyone who will benefit from your authentic contribution. Because your story isn't just something you've survived, it's something the world needs. Your cultural identity isn't a liability, it's your greatest asset. Your difference isn't something to minimize, it's something to maximize. As Maya Angelou wisely said, there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Perhaps there is also no greater missed opportunity, both personally and professionally, than leaving your unique perspective unshared. The world doesn't need more people who fit perfectly into existing systems. The world needs more disruptors who bring their full, authentic selves to create new possibilities. The world needs your untold story. So tell it boldly, unapologetically, professionally. Because in the end, the most powerful thing you can bring to any table, whether it's a literal table in a restaurant or a metaphorical table in a boardroom, is your authentic self, shaped by your unique cultural identity and lived experiences. The future belongs to those brave enough to be fully authentically themselves. Will you be one of them?